Hey everyone, and welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Angela here, and 2024 has been nothing short of shocking. From industry power players facing their downfall, to the rise of new Hollywood, to the heartbreaking loss of a member of One Direction, this year has rocked the industry. Liam Payne tragically died on October 16th after falling from a balcony in Argentina after he was spotted at Niall Horan's concert. May he rest in peace. Now, I was debating on whether or not I should make this video, but maybe this will be therapeutic for any Directioners watching, as well as those intrigued as to what's happened and the suspicious events that took place afterward that led many people to question if he fell or was pushed, considering the 25 injuries he suffered.
You found 25 injuries to be caused by that fall to be highly improbable, right?
When you hit that surface, you don't bounce.
This video covers all the latest facts about Liam's death, including the autopsy and toxicology reports, everything that ensued after with Roger Norris, why his girlfriend Kate left earlier than him, the drama with Maya Henry, and everything that happened afterward. Liam's death raises a bigger question about the tragic fate of child stars in the industry, which is something I have been talking about for a while. Before we start, be sure to like and subscribe for weekly videos, follow us on our social media where we make TikToks and Reels about all trending drama. And without further ado, let's start.
There's a lot of people in the crowd, but only you can dance with me. So put your hands on my body and swing that around for me, baby. You know I love when the music's out, we're gonna sit that down for me.
Liam's death. We all remember where we were when we got the news. I saw a text pop up on my phone while driving from Alana, my sister, and the other half of this channel, who texted in big letters, "Liam Payne died," and in that moment, I had to pull over with my mom. At the same moment, I saw that my source texted me a screenshot of her conversation with her friends who had a mutual staying at the same hotel as Liam, where chaos was ensuing over different reports saying that Liam fell from his balcony and others saying that he jumped. And earlier this month, I received inside information that Liam had completely relapsed and was seen drinking at a club, but little did we know that would turn out to be the least shocking part of his story. TMZ got the news first alongside photos of his dead body, which they posted because they're never going to beat the insensitive and vulture allegations, and they don't seem like they intend to. They defended their decision to post these photos, saying that they had to confirm it was him, and then deleted the photo afterward. I don't know why confirming the identity meant that the photo also had to be published for millions to see, but okay. TMZ wrote, Liam Payne is dead after a fall from his hotel balcony in Argentina. The former One Direction singer died Wednesday evening. Several witnesses at the hotel where he was staying in Buenos Aires tell us that Liam fell from his room on the 3rd floor of the Casa Sur Palermo hotel. We do not know if it was intentional or accidental. TMZ has seen a photo showing Liam's body on the deck at the hotel with tables and chairs nearby. You can clearly see his tattoos, a clock on his left forearm, and a scorpion on his abdomen, which helped us confirm early reports from witnesses. This was the updated version after deleting the photo that they had originally published. Liam has a lot of distinguishable tattoos, so confirmation that it was him came quickly. Unfortunately, his loved ones found out he died through the media, with his sister Nicola saying that she got a news alert and she went cold. According to reports, Liam fell after 5 p.m. after he had been acting erratic in the hotel lobby earlier, where he smashed his laptop and had to be carried back to his room. Here is a picture of the view from the hotel balcony, which overlooked a deck and pool inside the hotel where he fell. Liam and his girlfriend Kate Cassidy arrived in Argentina on September 30th, where they posted several social media posts together showing them having fun on vacation.
Travel with us to Argentina, and Liam was making some beats on our way.
She left Argentina on the 14th of October, while Liam stayed behind and checked into the Casa Sur Palermo hotel. It was later revealed that he traveled to Buenos Aires to renew his extraordinary achievement visa, which would allow him to continue his new life in Florida with Kate. However, his application was not granted because he admitted to having abused alcohol and drugs and was forced to undergo psychiatric and medical tests. It was eventually cleared, and he was due to have his passport stamped with the visa on Friday, just 2 days after he died. On Thursday, October 17th, a source with knowledge of the situation involving Maya Henry told People magazine that Liam was extremely overwhelmed by all of the legal issues, and that Kate had been super supportive of him through all the legal drama and very much stood by him. Liam's Snapchat stories have been making their rounds online following his death, with one of them showing his reaction to Kate leaving to go back home.
You're going home, ha ha, loser, weirdo.
I'm headed back to Florida with Nala.
Yeah. I hope everybody was okay in Milton.
In a TikTok video posted when she left, Kate explained why she was leaving without Liam.
I was so ready to leave. Honestly, loved South America, but I hate staying in one place for too long. We were supposed to be there for like 5 days, turned into 2 weeks, and I was just like, I need to go home.
An insider told People magazine that Liam's erratic behavior started ramping up once Kate left.
Of course, my seat was 1D. I feel like this happens every single time I fly. I also get such anxiety before flying, so I like broke out in this like weird rash. I really didn't sleep very good at all this whole entire flight. I landed in Miami at like 6 a.m. and I was really expecting a nice sunrise, but nope, we got clouds and gray skies.
Kate's heartbreaking post to Liam revealed that they had plans to get married. At the time of his death, someone at the hotel called 911 to report an aggressive male at the hotel.
Bueno, tenemos un huésped que está sobrepasado de droga y alcohol.
Shortly afterward, photos of Liam's hotel room started to get published, where you see a smashed TV, pieces of aluminum foil scattered on the desktop, traces of white powder, and a burnt candle and more aluminum foil in the bathtub. This looked to many people like drugs, which was later confirmed. The 911 call came from the hotel desk manager, who said that a guest who appeared to have excessively consumed drugs and alcohol was breaking everything in the room.
Cuando está consciente, está rompiendo toda la habitación y bueno, necesitamos que manden a alguien, por favor.
The manager requested urgent assistance because the room had a balcony and hotel employees were afraid he could do something that puts his life at risk.
Casa Sur, Palermo. Y necesitamos que nos envíen a alguien urgente porque, bueno, yo no sé si corre riesgo la vida del huésped, que tiene balcón y, bueno, estamos un poco con temor de que haga algo.
The prosecutor's office said it appeared that Liam was alone when he fell and that no defensive wounds were found on the body. Buenos Aires authorities said that Liam Payne jumped from the balcony of his room. In a new statement to AP, police said that they found his medication including clonazepam, a drug which is used to control epilepsy, involuntary muscle spasms, and panic disorders. A hotel guest described seeing Liam minutes before his death, saying,
"The final time he came back down, he actually passed out in the lobby of the hotel, looked like convulsing a little bit, and had to be physically taken back up to his room, and that was about 5 minutes before the eventual incident that happened."
He also said that he heard screaming in an argument earlier in the day.
Heard very loud screaming, a lot of just almost primal noises, grunting, screaming coming from the hotel room. Heard an argument with his friend earlier in the day.
Then came the autopsy report. Liam's autopsy and toxicology reports. According to reports in Argentina, Liam had traces of a combination of drugs in his system, including pink cocaine. Argentine police and prosecutors are said to be treating this tragedy as an inconclusive death, as they continue to hunt the drug dealer who supplied him that night. The preliminary results from toxicology tests have found traces of cocaine, benzodiazepine, crack cocaine, and pink cocaine, which is a combination of methamphetamine, ketamine, and MDMA. An improvised aluminum pipe commonly used to smoke crack cocaine was also found in his hotel room. While tests on the substances of white powder, traces of chemical crystals, and prescription medication found in his suite at the hotel continue, results from a post-mortem of his body have been completed. It determined that Liam died instantly from multiple injuries after falling 45 feet from the 3rd floor. A different test carried out by the police on the substance found on the table in his room has not confirmed the white powder as cocaine, so currently they're doing another test to see the nature of the drug. Forensic experts determined from the autopsy, which was performed a few hours after his death, that he had died from falling off a balcony and that there were no signs of anyone else being involved. The autopsy report indicated that Liam had died of multiple trauma and internal and external bleeding in the skull, chest, abdomen, and limbs. Because of the position in which the body was discovered and the 25 injuries he sustained, officials presume that Liam did not try to protect himself from the fall and may have been in a state of unconsciousness. This is what led people to believe that he didn't jump but was unconscious from all the drugs. But here's where it takes a turn for worse. More investigation into his death points to the possibility that he was already dead before the fall, as the point of impact alone couldn't have caused 25 separate injuries.
I'm not buying it. I've had people that have taken nosedives off of skyscrapers, in big cities, and you would think that the body would be obliterated. Most of the time, you're going to get a single point of impact. Now, it might be very, very grotesque and very involved, but you're not going to get 25 separate injuries from a single fall.
So this poses the question, were the 25 injuries solely from the fall alone, or did something else happen? Were there other people in the room with him? How was he able to open the balcony if he was practically unconscious from the drugs? Was it already opened?
The 25 injuries, would there be evidence of a struggle, a fight, or would, given the gravity of what happened to him, it'd be difficult to determine whether or not it was from the fall?
Brother, my default position, anytime I hear about 25 separate injuries, I'm thinking fight before I'm thinking anything else.
Mail Online revealed that the 2 hotel staff members are being investigated for supplying Liam with hard drugs in the days leading up to the tragedy. A cleaner and another member of staff are said to have hidden the drugs in a Dove soap box, which detectives found in Liam's room following his death. On October 22nd, the Argentine Public Prosecutor's Office denied releasing Liam's toxicology report, stating that the exams have not yet been completed and that any information previously disclosed is not true. Now, I don't know exactly what this means because I can't understand how the previous information was able to get published, but maybe this has to do with all the suspicious details coming out by his death now.
If he is out and about around town, was there anybody suspicious following him, Jesse?
Yeah,
you have to look at the CCTV relative to that. I'd want to know if anybody was outside the hotel, just kind of, I hate to say casing the joint, but you know what I'm saying.
Bizarre details about Liam's death. Now, there are a lot of conspiracies surrounding Liam's death. For example, fans pointed out these photos of Liam supposedly taken the day he died, where he looks calm and not crazy or aggressive like reports are saying. But the hotel guest who snapped those photos claimed, Liam Payne told me a few minutes before he died, I was part of a boy band, that's why I'm so messed up. This guest is dubbed as Rebecca, who was later quoted by the media in official reports as she elaborated on her 30-minute encounter with Liam. Interestingly, a hotel staff member claimed that an ex-girlfriend was staying 1 floor above him at the hotel.
Sí, se lo veía solo, pero andaba con su ex pareja. Y
estaba alojada acá.
Estaba alojada, sí. Sí.
Arriba, puede ser un piso más arriba.
Un piso más arriba, sí. Sí es.
I translated the video, but let me know if you guys can add additional insight. People suspect that the ex-girlfriend was Maya Henry, while others are saying that makes no sense, and apparently she has confirmed that she was not there. What's even crazier is that now it's confirmed that the last person to see Liam alive was his friend Roger Norez, who left about an hour before after apologizing to hotel guest for Liam being so high. The hotel guest, aka Rebecca, said that Roger seemed annoyed that Liam was high and was trying to get him to check out of the hotel because he overstayed his welcome. Roger is someone that Liam has been referring to as his manager as of late. He's a powerful Argentine energy fund boss who's now a talking point in Liam's death. Marca, a leading Spanish sports daily newspaper, cites close sources to Liam, saying that they remain adamant that Liam did not end his life and there are people that are responsible for his death.
There was a name on who was the last person to be with Liam in Argentina, and I think that we need to look into that further and where he came from and who he is.
Rebecca said, Roger was holding the lift door open, urging Liam to go to his room. You can see Roger's arm holding the door open button on the lift. Then they took the elevator up to the 3rd floor. My friend was supposed to check into his room, but Liam was refusing to check out. And as we saw from the pictures later, Liam was on a bender and he was refusing to check out. According to her report, Liam started reading emails after lying down on the couch. He opened one email and saw one that upset him, screaming F this, and started banging the computer on the ground.
¿Cuánto que está allí o es un hotel de vivienda? No, es hace 2 o 3 días que está acá.
She said, one of my friends was due to get his suite, so the hotel staff were a little on edge because he still hadn't checked out at 4:30 p.m., but also because of his behavior. I came into the hotel and he was waiting by the elevator and it was so clear he wanted someone to recognize him. There was something a bit desperate about him. I was with my friends and we did know who he was, but none of us were that bothered. When the lift came, he suddenly said to us without any prompting, yes, I'm Liam, really drawing it out, and then said, alright, come on you lot, get in the elevator with me, I love a cuddle. Now there's a whole investigation into Roger Norez and Liam because reports are saying that he not only supplied him with drugs, but allegedly escorts whom he paid as well.
En ese momento a él le preguntaron quién era Rogelio Norez, este empresario con el que según le habrían dicho habría estado Liam hasta último momento.
There was even a rumor that they were romantically involved, but there is no confirmation of that.
There was a lot of things in magazines saying that me and Roger were gay together. It's not true, unfortunately. Although, if I was, I might go for him. Who knows? But I'm not. So I won't. And I know he's not, so he won't either. That clears that up.
Argentine media is also reporting that Liam's father isn't trusting anyone, as he was first told cameras weren't working and that a security guard told him someone high up was helping, and to top it all off, the hotel manager didn't give a statement right away due to nerves. Liam was also posting just hours before his death on Snapchat, which implied to everyone that he was okay. But here's the thing about Snapchat. Creators can upload a bunch of stories a day and get paid because people subscribe to them. But after Liam passed away, his Snapchat stories were deleted almost automatically and within the hour. One fan wrote, "This is the proof again his socials was controlled by his team. They didn't even know how bad he's feeling. They are so careless. They even posted stories after his death, and when they get news, deleted everything immediately. His team never cared about him as a human, only used him." Days before his death, Liam was very attached to his fans, spending a lot of time with them in front of his hotel, taking pictures and talking to them. The same content that Liam was clowned for is being looked at from a different lens. The Macarena video, which he got clowned for, is now looked at as Liam just wanted to relive memories and feel the love he used to get, as opposed to the hate he has been suffering for years now. People also started reflecting on how much he was struggling publicly, mentioning that just 2 months ago he was wearing a safety pin necklace, which is a symbol that a person won't take their life and will be strong. Which brings me to the next part of the video. The events that led to his death. According to the Daily Mail, Liam got dropped by his label days before his death. Hotel guests also claimed that they heard violent noises and a scream. The source said Liam's advance was massive and he didn't recoup it. Out of all the One Direction boys, Liam was on the wrong path musically. It is understood that the release of his second album was put on hold prior to Universal dropping him. This comes after Liam was promoting that album this year and seemed very excited about it, even working with Niall and Louis on it. On top of that, Liam's PR reps had resigned earlier this month, which left him without any publicity representation. The resignation came as Maya Henry began legal proceedings against him after accusing him of repeatedly contacting her. One source said, "It is like all of Liam's music career that he had built up since he went solo 8 years ago was crumbling. There was very little left for him." Shortly before Liam passed away, he went viral multiple times because people were making fun of him at Niall Horan's concert on October 2nd, where he was accused of stealing the attention from Niall and basking in it. One particular video went viral where Liam was dancing and approaching fans at the concert at a point where it looked like even his security was telling him to back off. In a different video, Liam was doing the Macarena while it seemed like security was trying to stop him from riling up the crowd. He was also dragged for staying at the same hotel Niall was at and taking pics with whom they called his fans, aka Niall's fans. The videos went viral on Twitter, aka the worst place to be going viral. One user wrote, "I'm begging for y'all to stop putting this man on my timeline. I'm having secondhand embarrassment at him breathing." Another person said, "Remember when Harry stayed under the radar when he went to Niall's show? Meanwhile, Liam..." This person wrote, "No matter how you rank the success of all 5 men formerly known as One Direction, Liam Payne will always be at the bottom of that list, and it infuriates him to a degree that I can't even comprehend. Harry will always be first, the middle 3 varies, and Liam is always last." Ouch. People were also making fun of Liam by saying that Niall didn't want him there and didn't even want him backstage. But then when Liam posted photos with Niall, still people weren't happy, with one user writing, "Holding onto his necklace, someone save him, oh my god." Since the hate began to go viral, people started to dig into Liam's past because it's what social media does best, take the opportunity to cancel someone more, which brought up his drama with his ex-fiance Maya Henry, as well as the controversial Logan Paul interview. Where it all went downhill. In 2022, Liam went on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, where he made some comments about his time in One Direction that ultimately made people hate him even more and call him a pick-me. The main comment is when he claimed that One Direction was built around him.
Part of the reason One Direction was made was because of Simon's promise to me that in 2 years, I'll make this work for you. Wow. So he kind of started with my face and then worked around.
When this went viral, I'll admit, I was like, yo, Liam, this is getting embarrassing, quit it. But at the same time, I low-key understood what he meant. He ended up making a whole apology video and took accountability for what he said on the podcast.
I went on the Logan Paul podcast. I think for me, a lot of what I just said just came from the wrong place. I was so angry at what was going on around me, and instead of taking a look inwards, I decided to look outwards. outwards at everybody else. My own frustrations with my own career and where I kind of landed. I took shots at everybody else, which is wrong. So obviously I want to apologise for that. And obviously one of the biggest remarks I made was about the One Direction thing. And a lot of self-protection, I suppose, in that moment more than anything. The rest of the boys are really stuck by me, and when I needed them most, they, you know, kind of came to the rescue. Even Zayn as well. In fact, it's probably one of those life-changing moments that saved my life in a way, and without it, I wouldn't have, you know, I went through a lot, don't get me wrong, but to actually arrive where I am here today and where I hope we're going to go forward.
But here's the thing. When it comes to the music industry, stan culture is toxic for multiple reasons. But if you are underperforming, or as stans like to call it, flopping, and on top of that, you don't have a strong fan base to back you up, the internet is going to chew you up. Therefore, behavior that gets passed or ignored for another artist may not get passed for you if you don't have an army backing you up. This was the case for Liam, who wasn't the most popular member of One Direction, but was highly nostalgic about 1D. He made it clear how happy it made him and how much he yearned for the band to be back together.
And to join the rest of the boys. I mean, imagine if there is a comeback 1D concert. Like, imagine if we did a different concert every day, and a different boy played every day, and then right at the end we did one concert where we all come back together. How cool would that be? And we had like a little mini 1D festival. That's a great idea, actually. We should do that. We should totally do that. That's what we need to do. I need to make a couple calls.
This was taken as, haha Liam, you're a flop, you're a loser, and a has-been. Now you guys know that here on Scandalous Media, we differ from any other media and gossip channels because we combine mainstream media news with inside info, and oftentimes we talk to fan bases, so we know the fan environment all too well. Even though we weren't hardcore Directioners, we always watched from a distance because to do the type of investigative videos we upload, you have to be familiar with the fan culture of that fan base.
Alright, I'm gonna be the first one to say this because obviously none of us want to admit it. This is our fault. And we spent a week clowning on this man. He couldn't even do his little fucking dancey dance to his most popular song. He couldn't post a fucking TikTok with his girlfriend without us sitting there in the comments telling that woman to run away from Liam. This is nobody's fault but the fans' fault. The same way that throughout the entire fucking history of One Direction's entire history, it has always been our fault. Why did Louis and Harry stop being friends? Because of us. Half of you guys didn't even like Liam.
So since day one, I was always watching as Liam got clowned, and I felt like it was a difficult position to be part of this incredible group, and then once the group was over, you're left to fend for yourself. Sometimes this is an opportunity for the standouts of the group to go make their own legacy, like Harry Styles, or in the case of Liam, you're left wishing for the good old happy days.
Have a fun flight home, you. I spend every single day with these lads. It's really weird to not have the other 4 lads.
It's like Jade Thirlwall of Little Mix said. She was the biggest Little Mix fan ever, and she had to mourn that the group's time was up despite being on the best of terms with Perry Edwards and Leanne Pinnock. Unfortunately, now that he passed, people are looking at things through an empathetic lens and less of a "your has-been, get over it" lens, which made up the months prior to his death. And when you look back at One Direction, Liam was singing the bulk of the songs and the most popular verses, whether that was the opening verse or the chorus. This article broke it down and found that Liam took the crown for most utilized singer, opening up 42% of their songs, aka 36 songs total. Now that he's passed, people are reflecting on his time in One Direction, and most, if not all, memorial posts to him, especially from the 1D boys, mention how he was an integral part of the band because he was more experienced than the rest of the boys were, since he had auditioned on X Factor 2 years before. And that's where he even met Jade from Little Mix, who, like him, auditioned before winning the show later as part of the iconic girl group. And since the start, he never really got recognition for what he brought to the band, and it seemed like for the decade to follow, he always wanted acknowledgement, but no one gave it to him. Louis later defended Liam on the Zach Sang show, where he even called out Zach's tweet where he said he was unfollowing Liam. And notice what Louis said in his post about Liam. And for the record, Liam was, in my opinion, the most vital part of One Direction. His experience from a young age, his perfect pitch, his stage presence, his gift for writing, the list goes on. Thank you for shaping us, Liam.
How did they choose the rest of the group?
I don't know how they chose the rest of them, but I mean, they made the right choices. Called my dad, I was like, this is weird, I know I just told you I'm out, but they want to put me in a boy band. Like, what do you think about it? He said, well, you can either be 100% of nothing or 1/5 of something. And I thought, very clever, Jeffrey.
and I seen like the fans like saying, obviously, like you'd said something about Liam. I was like waiting for it to listen. It wasn't too bad. It was that one tweet, was it?
Yes.
Which you now obviously feel really bad for, because you know you're a good person with a good heart, and you don't want to shit on someone like Liam.
No, so here's the deal.
I'm joking.
And I knocked somebody while they were, in my opinion, like going through.
You kicked him on the floor, essentially.
I did, and that's incredibly wrong of me.
Back to the Logan Paul interview.
Which of those annoying Paul brothers was it?
Logan.
Right.
Liam told a story about a physical altercation with an unnamed bandmate where he said that someone had thrown him against the wall, and he had a tough guy response saying,
So I said to him, if you don't remove those hands, there's a high likelihood you'll never use them again.
That is such a British thing to say.
Of course, everyone clowned him again. I'm telling you, the internet was something else that night. I was seeing tweet after tweet that was viral and bringing in hundreds of thousands of impressions and engagements.
When you watch that video and you really give it time and you choose not to just live on the surface and look into his eyes in that video and really try to understand where he's at, it's somebody who's genuinely hurting. It's somebody who's genuinely confused.
So Liam never lived that interview down despite his apology, which I didn't even know happened until I had to go look for it. And that's the thing with the internet. Certain things will go viral, and so you're left with missing pieces overall unless you go and search it up.
All I'll say on that, and I don't really want to comment too much on it, but all I'd say on that, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing, the buttons he was pressing, and that's what I took away from it. I just thought whoever's involved in that show, that annoying Paul brother himself, whoever the other weird guys were, it just felt disrespectful. That's all I'd say.
Maya Henry's allegations against Liam days before his death. Liam and Maya Henry's relationship was a big focus leading up to Liam's death because of the videos Maya made about Liam alleging that she faced some serious abuse at his hands. Originally I was going to include all of that here, but it got too long. Instead, I'm going to make a separate video about this, as well as the connections between Roger Norris and the Henry family, so be on the lookout for that. Long story short, Maya released a book in May 2024 called Looking Forward, which is about a girl who falls in love with a charming pop star. Maya said that the book was definitely inspired by true events. Obviously, the book is fiction, Maya told People magazine, but it's definitely inspired by true events. The main character, Mallory, is very similar to me, and that's why it was very easy for me to write her character and put the emotion in there. In the book, Maya wrote a story about how Oliver, aka the character based on Liam, chased Mallory around their home with an axe, struck walls next to her head, shattered glass tables, forced her to have an abortion, sent explicit photos to her family members, cheated on her, and threatened her by saying that no one would believe her, as his fanbase will always forgive and support him. It is important to note that while the book is inspired by Maya's relationship with Liam, particular examples such as chasing her with an axe haven't been confirmed to be about him. In her People magazine interview, she reiterated that the book is fiction, assuming it's probably dramatized in some way, but months later, her stance shifted a bit when she commented under a TikTok she made about Liam, saying that the book is about him and she couldn't come up with stories that crazy. I'll go into detail in my deep dive on them, but after Dragging Liam and Niall's concert went viral, Maya made several TikToks about Liam, revealing that it was Zayn who pushed Liam up against the wall from the story he mentioned in the Logan Paul interview.
And he told me it was Zayn, so.
Adding that Liam uses 1D fans to get away with his behavior. She also said that Liam wouldn't stop contacting her or her mother and is making various new numbers.
Ever since we broke up, he messages me, will blow up my phone. It's always from different phone numbers too, so I never know where it's gonna come from. He'll create new iCloud accounts to iMessage me. Also will email me, and he does this when he gets his phone taken away. Not only me, but he'll blow up my mom's phone. He would text my mom, I'm not doing well, have Maya contact me, because I wouldn't respond. And it's just always the same cycle. And every time that, like for example, when I announced my book, he did the same thing. He called my mom, I think I'm not gonna be around much longer. And
on October 14th, 2 days before Liam's death, the Internet is Dead podcast posted their episode with Maya, where Maya called out Liam for being manipulative and claimed that he would always play with death when he would tell her that he's not well.
Ever since we broke up, like, oh, I'm not well, he would always play with death and be like, well, I'm gonna die, I'm not doing well. And there was one time I tried to get him help, and then he was like, not taking it.
It's eerie watching it back, considering that he did die, and now people are like, well, it wasn't a manipulation tactic, was it?
He would always play with death.
It's very complicated because it seems like Maya went through a lot, and the fact that he died 2 days after this video was posted, I mean, nobody could have seen this coming. She also claimed that one of his friends reached out to her, trying to convince her not to publish her book because Liam isn't doing well, and she chalks it up to them scaring her and manipulating her.
Even one of his friends was calling me and my mom being like, oh, you know, this isn't a good time for him. I don't think you should put the book out. You know, he's not doing well. And if something happens to him, not only are you going to blame yourself, but the whole world's going to blame you.
And then days before his death, Maya hired lawyers to send a cease and desist letter to Liam, accusing him of repeatedly contacting her.
As of like recent events that have happened, I can't speak on legally, but like it's just gotten so much worse.
In May, she had told People magazine that Liam regularly reaches out to her because they are now on good terms, so I wonder why the sudden change of heart, or if Liam did something. Her lawyers told Mail Online that Maya has retained attorneys Marco Crawford and Daniel Cerna to represent her. At this time, that is her only comment on the matter.
But he would always just say, I'm so sorry for everything I've done. I can't live with myself, but then is continuing to like try and traumatize me.
People pointed out that it's odd that Maya notified the press about the letter and updated them on matters that could have very well remained private, but maybe she wanted to make a point to those doubting her story, or she was maybe trying to get attention off the whole thing. What do you guys think?
And so I always just felt like it was just like a whole manipulation to maybe keep me from not saying anything or keep me on his good side in a way.
The doomed fate of child stars. The famous child star to messed up adult pipeline has been one that I've been talking about for over a decade, and it's a conversation that has increasingly gained more traction throughout the years. From child stars who grow up and lose it, such as Aaron Carter, Amy Winehouse, and Michael Jackson, to the likes of those who survived, such as Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, and Demi Lovato, who recently co-directed a Hulu documentary about this very thing. Liam's death put a spotlight on the struggles a young person faces in the industry and how that ultimately leads to their destruction in adulthood.
I think if I wasn't in One Direction right now, I would be working in a factory or being a fireman.
It's quite funny.
Yeah.
Why did you want to be a fireman?
I don't know, I like the idea of saving someone.
Fans are now encouraging lawmakers to pass legislation that would help safeguard the mental health of young artists, coining it Liam's Law. An online petition has started and it's already going viral.
His death has sparked conversation around the mental health challenges faced by individuals in the entertainment sector. The hashtag Liam's Law.
The Sun's headline read, "Tragic Liam Payne was churned out by the pop machine that breaks its stars. Inside the dark secrets of boy band fame." The effects of fame can be particularly destabilizing when the person in the spotlight is still a child. Take a look at Justin Bieber, who reacted to the news of Liam's death with a heartbreak emoji. Justin is the modern-day definition of a child star who's experienced massive amounts of fame that ultimately led to his breakdown, and this persona of defense where he stopped taking pictures with fans, stopped having interviews, and nowadays takes a backseat in the industry, rarely making public appearances unless it's to go out to lunch. Liam had been open with his struggles in the past and has defended Justin publicly when Justin tried to make amends with anyone he's hurt in hopes of healing himself and moving forward. Liam even opened up saying that he had a conversation with Justin about struggling.
With Justin, so we sat down and had a really long chat. I told him some things that no people know about me. He's one of the only people in the world that know what I told him.
He mentioned how he had the boys to ground him, unlike Justin, who was alone.
I had four other people going through the same thing who would bring me back down to earth every time I went a little bit too far. He was doing it by himself. No one knows how Justin Bieber felt except for Justin Bieber, so it's difficult.
Sadly enough, Liam's final performance in 2022 was covering Justin's song, Love Yourself. This also brought up what Harry Styles had to say about the media and how everyone just wanted to be loved in an industry that was so difficult.
We all just want to be loved. You put so much love into an industry that's so fickle and that like it loves you back when you're doing well, and like if you're not, you're just out.
This is the same theme we saw in Liam's sister's memorial post, saying that he just wanted to be loved, and especially in Zayn's memorial post that represented a lot of guilt considering the fact that Zayn and Liam had fallen out throughout the years. Speaking about Liam's death, Boyzone's Mikey Graham hit out at the lack of care the industry has, saying, "I think it would be a wise move for record companies to have psychologists on their books from now on in his memory as a duty of care for the vulnerability of their young talent. Fame can be very damaging, especially in today's world. Lots of money, nobody to help, lots of yes people, nobody honest." Demi Lovato has been very open with this, even making history by securing Governor Gavin Newsom's signature on the bill that safeguards child influencers and guarantees their fair compensation moving forward.
SB 764, which is the bill that was just passed into law, extends the same financial protections for child stars' unmonetized social media accounts that it does for children in the film and television industry. And it's a really big deal that these protections have been put in place.
On the Table Manners podcast in 2019, Liam opened up about his experience being so young, saying, "You've got no control over your life. That's why I lost complete control of everything." The thing about Hollywood is that puppeteers promote the use of substances, and in some cases, stars are numb to what's happening while being taken advantage of. Demi Lovato once said that club promoters gave her drugs as a minor to lure her into coming so she can get photographed there to promote them. And one of the most traumatizing stories told was how those in Justin Bieber's circle kept him drugged up, as his former housekeeper recalled friends popping pills in his mouth as he was in a zombie-like state, and that his manager Scooter Braun and mother Patty Mallet were nowhere to be found, just like Justin's credit card that would go missing for days. Matthew Perry died from acute effects of ketamine, and his death launched an investigation into the drug and who supplied him with it, which brought up Hollywood's obsession with ketamine. Federal authorities said their investigation into his death uncovered a broad underground criminal network of drug suppliers who distributed large quantities of ketamine across Los Angeles. And what were one of the drugs found in Liam's system? Ketamine. Fans are now reflecting on how Liam always wanted to help someone and feel needed.
I like the idea of saving someone.
Even in his final days, he was spending his days advocating for his fans to help others.
All I know is that there are websites out there for you to be able to donate to sick children that need your help. It doesn't matter how small the donation is or how big the donation is.
Liam has opened up a lot about feeling lonely and how hard it's been for him to navigate fame.
That level of loneliness and people getting into you every day, like I say, it just every so often you're like, when will they send?
There's a lot of manic things in my life. I would lose my sobriety would be within these moments that were super low, and I kind of felt like that today. I'm just not really here.
You know, when things start to pile on top of each other, that's when it can really get you. For some certain circumstances, I'm quite lucky to be here still.
One user wrote, thinking about how Liam was a lonely kid who all of a sudden had hundreds of thousands, probably millions adoring him, but once One Direction disbanded, it all went away just as quickly. That would destroy anyone's brain, to be honest. His death is devastating, and when you factor everything into it, it is very scary. Some will argue that it's what he did to himself, while others will say that he wasn't that great of a person. Nonetheless, the entire situation is very saddening and multi-layered. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my coverage of this sad story. Stay tuned for part 2 of this video, which will be a deep dive into his controversial relationship with Maya Henry, as well as more controversial information that has arisen about his death. I've uncovered some details that you don't often hear in the usual discussions. Be sure to like and subscribe for weekly content, follow us on our social media, and as always, I'll see you next time.